So it's now time for Conversations With, and today I'm joined by TV personality and entrepreneur Jo Wood. Now, she was married to Rolling Stones legendary rock musician Ronnie Wood. Accompanying her husband on tour around the world, Jo has seen it all, from being a fashion designer in New York to publishing her autobiography. Jo is a bona fide entrepreneur, and now she's living self-sufficiently and off the grid, all during an energy crisis. Jo is also very outspoken about her views on politics and lifestyle choices. I'm pleased to say she joins me now to discuss all things energy and politics. Jo, thank you very much for joining me. It's really good to talk to you. Wow.
Hi,
so,
Nana.
Jo, so talk to me then, Jo. Tell me a bit about, what's life like for you now? I mean, because you're an entrepreneur, you've done so many different things. Talk to me about what you're doing at the moment, what you've been getting up to.
Well, a couple of years ago, I bought an off-grid farmhouse in Northamptonshire and decided that being an organic girl, it was the way I felt that I'd be in control of all my power and my water. And it was very difficult at first because lots of things went wrong, but now it seems to all be settled down. And yes, it's all good.
Well, you've got lights on and everything, though. How does it work then? If you're off grid, how are you getting the power? How come you've got Wi-Fi as well?
Oh, well, I have. That's the only thing I do have is Wi-Fi because it's the telephone line. But I have a generator. I have battery house. I have solar panels. I have 10 solar panels that sort of power the batteries, and then when I don't get sunlight and I need more power, the generator kicks in and powers up the batteries. So that's good. And then I have a borehole with my own water.
Wow.
So it all works well. You wouldn't know that I was off grid if you came to visit. It's perfect actually now.
Isn't it a lot of hard work, though? Because I'm imagining that you have to do a lot of stuff to get this all going. Or is it just something that you can... So you've got to get the solar panels, first of all, and then, because I'm thinking, I mean, I'd love to do that, but it sounds like a lot of work. It feels like sort of growing your own vegetables, that kind of thing.
Well,
do you do that as well?
It was all here when I moved in, but it was very old, and I didn't realise that. I thought, woo, live off grid, Jo, perfect. And then it all sort of started crumbling when I moved in. You know, the generator was really old and the batteries were on their last legs. I mean, it was a big learning curve, and I do have to take care of my generator, of the solar panels, of the batteries. It is a responsibility, but then again, I live relatively cheaply. All I have to buy is a red diesel because it's a farm.
But diesel, isn't diesel a bad fossil fuel, though? But you said red diesel. Is that different from normal diesel?
Yeah, it's what you use if you are off grid, and it's what farmers use. And as this is a farmhouse, I can get red diesel, but you have to have something like that. Even Tesla, when you want to recharge your car in the middle of nowhere, you have a small generator in the back of the car that you put diesel in. So
yeah, you see, that's the thing. We still need fossil fuels, don't we? It's just that, but it's a very sort of impressive way to live. So have you got heat and everything else like that? You've got heat, it just runs on?
Yes, Nana, I have heat.
And you've got your own water as well.
Yeah, my water comes from very deep in the ground, and they found an ancient source of water, which I call my dinosaur water, which flows through the house, and yeah.
Well, I've got to say it's very impressive. The lights are on. You've got Wi-Fi and water and heat and everything else like that. And in terms of the cost, is it all so much cheaper? Does it cost a lot to do this?
Yeah. So the diesel engine will need repair, need maintaining like any engine. So I have a guy called Andrew, who comes and checks it all through, like any engine, really. And then I buy diesel maybe once a year or sometimes twice, but I've only had one filling of the tank all this year. and that's about £600.
There's no bills. You don't have the electricity or energy company sending you no bills whatsoever. So this whole energy crisis is literally passing you by. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
And
fantastic.
everybody over to Joe's house.
Yeah, well, definitely, I'm coming over. And what about this whole, I mean, I don't know if you've been watching much of this political crisis that's going on at the moment. I mean, what are you making of all of this crisis? Because obviously we've got the energy crisis, we've got cost of living crisis, and then we've got a political crisis with the actual parties not knowing what they're doing. What is your view of it all?
Well, I think it's quite embarrassing. A friend of mine wrote to me from Belgium and said, "My goodness, Joe, your parliament is a joke." And I thought, oh my God, they're looking in on us from all other countries to see what a mess our country is in. You know, we used to be Great Britain. Now we're Prime Minister the last 44 days. And don't we pay the government? Don't we, us taxpayers, pay their wages?
Well, that's what
I'm sure
thought.
we do. We should have a general election. We should be voting on what we want as people, not what they're messing around in the government.
I know.
I think it's insane.
Well, you mentioned Liz Truss, actually, because she's apparently going to get an annual payment of £115,000 for spending 44 days as the Prime Minister. I mean, do you think...
I don't think that's right. I really don't think that's right. It's our taxpayer money for 44 days. It's madness. I mean, I don't understand why we all aren't up in arms and going crazy.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? The others, though, because I know Theresa May, she was offered a certain amount, but she takes a small portion of it. So she takes a portion of it instead of the full thing. So some of them, you know, won't take the whole thing. I wonder if Liz Truss will. In some respects, so I almost feel that she deserves it because she was literally hounded out of office, even though she made a few horrendous errors. But I actually felt quite bad for her. You know, did you not feel a bit sorry for her?
No, not at all. Not at all. I feel embarrassed about our country at the moment. We are in a mess and we need to really sort it out. We need something different, not something from the WEF or, you know, we need something of ours. We need to become an independent country again. We need to bring business back into our country again. We can't go on like this.
No.
Yeah, I just am very disappointed with England, actually.
I'm very disappointed with it as well. Yeah, it's the politicians, actually. The people in this country, I think, are fabulous. But unfortunately, we seem to be ruled by some very egotistical people at the moment who don't really have our best interests at heart at all.
Absolutely.
I want to come back to your rock and roll days. You don't mind me asking, because I'm always curious as to what it's like being married to a rock star and actually a member of pretty much one of the world's most famous groups. I mean, I've got plenty of albums of theirs.
Yeah, it was a good adventure. Yeah, look at him. Yeah, we had fun. It was great, and I learned a lot about music and people and going on tour, and it was extraordinary life. Actually, it seems like a million years ago now, but it was an extraordinary life, and I'm very grateful to have lived that and survived.
Survived it, yeah. Some people don't survive that one, but amazingly you did. And also, you know, now you're obviously carving your own life and doing your own thing. What are your main passions?
My main passion is really everything all organic. You know, I just think we've come so far away from nature with our food, what's in the sky, what's in the soil. We've come so far away. We shouldn't be eating anything that if that wasn't in 1900, we shouldn't be eating it. We should go back to real food and forget the processed food and put good things, quality stuff on our skin that don't contain lots of chemicals. I mean, all this pharmaceuticals that everybody's taking all the time can be changed with just your diet. So I just think we need to step back and readjust and look at what we're putting into our bodies to get us healthy. We'd clean up the country as well if the farmers were organic farms.
It's true.
And, we'd have a lot healthier nation. We would be a Great Britain again.